Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, boys and girls, depending on where you are around the world. Now, of course, people, we are back again with another freaking video, and this one's going to be slightly different to normal. This one is titled, Day in the Life of the Heaviest Person in the World. This is going to be interesting. But of course, boys and girls, before we begin, please make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are on the road to 9K. Smash the like button, comment throughout, and also share the video at the end. But let's not waste any more time. And let's get into it, you know what I'm saying? I will be leaving the link of the original video in the description, okay guys? Let's get it.
The average adult male weighs around 190 pounds. The average adult
105, okay.
woman around 165 pounds. Sadly, many adults tip the scales at far.
I'm curious though, because obviously they're saying the average man and the average woman weighs at this, but I'm assuming that also has to be dependent on height, because when you are a certain height, you have different, weight requirements, you know what I mean? Just a quick little side note there, but let's keep it going.
Or more than that, as is evident by the rising obesity epidemic all over the world.
Sadly.
Some people, however, go stratospheres beyond obesity. For one reason or another, they just get heavier and heavier until their weight slips into the four figures.
You know what though, when he talks about, but for one reason or another, I'm really trying to look for a video that really tackles some of the possible reasons why, you know what I mean? So we can really get down to the nitty gritty of, like, when it comes to maybe the mental health side of things, or if it's just greed, you know what I mean? But yeah, of course. But I like the fact that he's at least said that for one reason or the other, rather than just saying because, boom, it keeps it open. But okay, let's keep it going. We go back a little bit.
Heavier and heavier until their weight slips into the four figures. The human body simply isn't meant to handle a half-ton of weight. So for those unfortunate few who weigh or have weighed 1,000 pounds or more, functional life is as difficult a goal to achieve as any other.
And you know what? The fact that he says that functional life is obviously way much more difficult, especially if you're on that ton kind of, once you get to that ton, obviously even when you're half a ton, you shouldn't be there. It's not good. But I feel like, in a way, it's not what he's trying to say, but what I'm taking away from it is that if you are someone that is half a ton or less, but obviously you are still obese, at least know that you have an opportunity to still move around, and you have an opportunity that's better than someone that is at the ton level, which no one should ever be at anyway, to, still be able to lose that weight by doing the exercises, because your body is going to be more mobile than someone that is a ton, if you know what I mean. So I'm just saying, think about those things, because sometimes when we talk about these things, when we do reactions to Amberlynn Reid and Chantel, obviously these ladies are not at a ton, do you know what I mean? They're still at a weight where they can do better. I mean, even if you're at a ton, you can still do something to lose that weight. It's just that the journey will be very, very difficult, and I can't imagine how difficult it would be, you know what I mean? So I feel like sometimes when we're not talking about people who are at a ton, and we're talking about people like Amberlynn Reid and Chantel who are like around that 500 kind of, that 500 plus area, sometimes we do speak about it as if, like, I don't know, to be fair, I wouldn't say we do, because I feel like when I speak about it, I always say that, listen, all you got to do is just leave your house and go for a walk. Doesn't matter how long the walk is, it's exercise, and make sure you're eating, the calories that you need and not the ones that you don't need, you know what I mean? So, of course, I think it's good to know that when I'm talking about these things, when I relate to people around that weight level, it is realistic, you know what I mean? But the fact is it ever unrealistic for you to actually go out there and do a little bit of exercise by walking or eating that less amount of food for the benefit of your body? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if I went away from my point, but okay, let's just continue.
The case of a Saudi Arabian man named Khalid bin Mohsen Shari. In August 2013, at just 22 years old, Shari made history, though probably not in the way he'd have preferred. At that time, he weighed an unbelievable 1,345 pounds, or 610 kilograms, making him the heaviest living person in the world.
Woo! What? He makes me feel like I need to be nicer to people like Amberlynn. What the hell? But this guy was obviously a younger age, right? Yo, and he's sad.
And only the second heaviest person ever. The 5'7" Shari's body mass index was an astronomical 204. A normal BMI ranges anywhere from 19 to 25. For a man his height, that equals anywhere from 120 to 150 pounds, or 54 to 68 kilos. There doesn't seem to be many details out there as to how Shari got so big.
Just look at the way they're having to support him,
Kilos. There doesn't seem to be many.
Look at the way they have to support him. They've got 2 seat belts. Or bet belts, I'm not too sure. Breathing tank here. A drip in this this isn't the way of life, you know. No one should be ever put in this position. No one should ever put themselves in this position. But honestly, the people that was around this young man at that time and allow him to do this, shame on you. Because it is his responsibility to look at his health. But if you're the one that's feeding him and buying him this stuff, shame on you.
Many details out there as to how Cherie got so big, though it's often the result of a disease such as hyperthyroidism. It's extremely hard to simply eat so much you wind up 1,200 pounds overweight, though that likely played a significant role as well. Whatever the cause, Cherie became such a household name he got the attention of Saudi King Abdullah. The king, clearly disturbed and worried for his subject, ordered Cherie hospitalized until his weight became manageable. Of course, it's not...
That's the true leader right there. That's the true leader right there. Wow. But you know what, though? The sad thing is he had to get to some ridiculous amount of weight for him to be noticed. You know what I mean? Obviously, realistically, you know, people want to be noticed way before that, you know, like literally way before that. But I'm just saying, at least he heard about it and he was like, you know what? Let me see what we can do here. You know what I mean? It's the thought that counts. May have been later on in life, but it's not like it's the leader's responsibility anyway. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying he's acknowledged this. And he's like, you know what? We need to get something done about it. So, you know, credit where credit's due.
Not someone that size could just walk to the hospital or even climb into the ambulance. His weight was so overwhelming, Cherie almost literally couldn't move. He had not in fact gotten out of bed in about 3 years. This meant that when a hospital came calling, a team of over 30 people had to blast a giant hole in the wall of Cherie's house, slide both he and his bed onto a giant forklift, and sent him to the hospital that way. Once at the
Why is he smiling? Maybe he's happy he's gonna get something done with his health, but boy, they had a blast through his. Come on, man. Come on. When is rock bottom for people? Literally, when is rock bottom? This is why we say people like Amelin, Reed, and Chantel don't have a rock bottom, because we're thinking, where is your rock bottom? You know, Life of Jen or Hungry Fat Chicks. Like, where is your bottom? Rock bottom. Y'all want to be like this? Having people have to blast through your door just to get in there? A whole bloody forklift has to come in and take you and put you down? Come on. Come on. This is ridiculous. Nah. It's got me all worked up, man. Jeez.
King Fahd Medical City Hospital in Saudi Arabia's capital city, Riyadh, Cherie began a rigorous weight loss routine overseen by a team of 21 medical experts. Their plan worked extremely quickly, as within 3 months, Cherie had lost over 330 pounds, or 150 kilos.
Either way, though, he was weighing at, 1,200 and something, so he's still just under 1,000. He's still got a way to go.
According to team leader Dr. Ayed Al-Khatani, Cherie's heart and lungs were performing better. He had more muscle strength, could actually move his feet, and reported less inflammation. He still weighed half a ton, but his body responding to the medically induced royally ordained crash diet was a good sign for the future. Just 3 months later, in February 2014, reports came out that Cherie had lost even more weight. By then, he was roughly 630 pounds, meaning he had lost over 700 pounds in 6 months. While still big, Cherie was now at a far more manageable weight, and his mobility had...
See, manageable weight, you know, and someone like Chantel's and Foodie Beauties and Hungry Fat Chick, all these ladies here, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? I mean, they are still at a reasonable weight. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously that's what they're saying here about this young man here, who was way far gone, you know? And the fact that they're now saying that he's now at a more reasonable weight to do more things is a positive for him. And I think that's why we can reflect on the people that we do watch on YouTube who are near enough around this weight or are going to be around the weight he's at now, that halfway, you know what I mean? And looking at them and just coming out with, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do that, excuses. Nah, listen. This video's got me all worked out, man. I'm ready just to rage, like, oh my days, oh damn, oh my gosh, let's go.
Increased immensely. A video emerged of Cherie taking his first steps in years with the aid of a walker. Since then, his weight loss has simply become more dramatic, culminating in a November 27 report by Al Arabiya. Backed up by video footage, the site claims Cherie now weighs a mere 150 pounds.
Wow.
Totally appropriate for a man his height. Being that these are foreign language sites and news reports, it's possible the figures are slightly off. However, you only need to look at Cherie's before and after pictures to see an almost magical transformation. From a 1,300-pound extreme health risk to a svelte, mobile, weight-appropriate modern miracle. Perhaps most amazing of all was how the entire time, regardless of his weight, Shaheen remained positive. King Fahd's medical director nicknamed him the Smiling Man for his boundless happiness.
You know what? The positivity is key. It definitely is key.
In the face of suffering. And now that he's at a healthy weight and can hopefully stay there, his smile should only get wider and more infectious. While Shaheen's story is among the most dramatic, he's far from the only 1,000+ pound human to fight back against their weight.
Sadly so.
Take the story of Juan Pedro Franco, who essentially assumed the heaviest person alive throne after Shaheen abdicated it. After suffering an injury at age 17, Franco's weight began to rise and rise over the years, until reaching peak weight in October 2016. At that time, the 32-year-old Franco weighed 1,312 pounds, or 595 kilograms. By then, he didn't leave his bed, had diabetes and blood pressure issues, one of his lungs suffered blockage, and he was on oxygen all day, every day. For a kid who used to be able to dance and date, it was a particularly painful rock bottom to hit. Realizing he had to do something or die, Franco zoned in on a 1-2 punch of diet and surgery. His doctor put him on a 6-month diet where he would eat nothing but healthy Mediterranean food. But by that point, mere wholesome food wouldn't be enough. And due to his extreme size...
Sad, isn't it? Isn't enough, you know. That is sad. Just let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let's rewind that a little bit and let that sink in.
Healthy Mediterranean food. But by that point, mere wholesome food wouldn't be enough. And due to his extreme size, exercise simply wasn't a possibility at the time. So in May 2017, Franco underwent a gastric sleeve operation, which reduced his stomach size by almost 80%. 6 months after that came gastric bypass surgery, which made the stomach even smaller. As a result, he dropped over 500 pounds in 18 months. In February 2018, he reported a weight of 761 pounds, or 345 kilograms. He wasn't done either. The Guinness World
I hope he wasn't done. I hope he wasn't done, because that's still a lot of weight to carry. 741 pounds. Come on.
Records, which in December 2016 officially bestowed the heaviest man title on Franco's head.
Come on, man. You know what? Listen, the Guinness World Record thing, you know, I'm all for it. You know, there's some things in I'm like, yo, wow, that happened. Come on, man. Giving someone a reward for being the biggest person. Come on, man. You're just encouraging this. That's enabling. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. If I'm someone who is that big and then I get a Guinness World Record plaque or certificate or whatever, to be honest with you, I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, I'm actually that big that I'm now getting a reward for being the biggest person in the world. How depressing is my life? God damn. No way. No. But at the same time, the one thing that I can give credit to is when these things are reported, you know, in the Guinness World Record, you know what I mean? It is something that is an eye-opener for people to look at and be like, wow, this person was actually this size, at this age, at this point in life, and they're still alive. So it's like, it is an eye-opener to be like, yo, that's crazy. Because you get to look at this person. But at the same time, for people who just can't help but eat food because, you know, they have every reason to continue gaining weight, with them, they might look at it on the flip side and be like, well, this person was able to eat this amount of food for that long and still was still able to survive, and I'm only, what, 500 pounds? I've still got 200, 300, 400 pounds left to go. You know what I mean? Some people can use that to their advantage if they just mentally twisted in their head, you know what I mean? So there are ups and downs, but of course, listen, I'm not trying to bash Guinness World Records, you know what I mean? End of the day, it is what it is. Honestly, it really is, you know what I'm saying? But damn, man, if I got a reward for being that big, I don't know how I would feel. I really don't know how I would feel. Let me know, boys and girls, how would you feel?
That as of November 2018, he weighed 671 pounds, or 304 kilos. He still has plenty of work to do, thanks largely to excess fluid in his legs caused by his still untreated lymphedema. But doctors hope that by treating that and by inserting a gastric band that won't let him eat more than what can fit into a couple shot glasses, he'll drop at least...
It's crazy because obviously, you know, they mentioned lymphedema here, and that's something that Amberlynn Reid says that she has, right? And I like the way this guy, he spoke about, you know, we can treat it and see X, Y, Z. Amberlynn Reid talks about as if it's something that can't be treated and if it's something that's just okay for her to continue doing, you know what I mean? Like, I've had enough of that girl, man. Jesus Christ. When you watch this, it infuriates you more about the behavior we see on an Amberlynn channel or a Chantel channel or any kind of weight gaining channel, you know what I mean? Not weight loss, weight gaining channel.
Under 10 pounds or 140 kilos more. Even without it, Franco is feeling the effects of losing nearly half his body weight, and he likes it. For the first time in forever, he's been able to walk more than a few steps before succumbing to exhaustion. Now he can walk several hundred steps at a time, lift small weights, do up to 20 squats in a row, takes far fewer pills for his blood pressure, and no longer has to be on oxygen all the time. He's at the point where he can do some of the work in bringing his weight down even further, and it sounds like he's more than ready for the challenge. If it sounds like everyone who weighs over 1,000 pounds wants nothing more than to lose the weight, that's because they do. It's not a record anyone really wants to hold, and that includes the ladies. Just ask Myra Rosales, who up until a few years ago was the heaviest living woman in the world. Thanks to thyroid issues as well as excessive eating, in 2008 she weighed 1,036 pounds, or 470 kilos. She ultimately realized she had to lose the weight, but only did so after becoming infamous for the worst possible reason. In March 2008, Rosales' young nephew Alicio died from mysterious injuries. Rosales confessed to causing his death, claiming she had rolled over him and crushed him. However, police soon declared her innocent. After doctors concluded Alicio died from blunt force trauma instead. Plus, it was clear Rosales was simply too large to have committed the crime. At her size, she could hardly move, let alone roll.
Just imagine that she thought she was the cause of it. The fact that she felt like her size was the reason why this child died is just mad. Obviously, it's a good thing that it wasn't her fault. But the fact that she felt like she rolled over and she might have killed someone. So that means she was at a size where she thought she was even capable of killing someone just by rolling a thigh on top of them. The fact that she was nervous that she could have killed someone and then they should have stopped someone from breathing if he just rolled to her side of her thigh. That is just her thigh. Come on, man.
Turns out the killer was Rosales' sister, Alicio's mother. So why would Rosales take the blame for such a terrible crime? Basically, she felt she had no life left in her, that due to her size she merely existed, and preferred to go to prison rather than have her sister's surviving children be without their mother. However, once police arrested the real killer, Rosales realized she had to lose the weight, both for herself and the children. If she could get down to a manageable size, she realized she may be able to take custody of the kids. And so she started treatment, and her body responded immediately, shedding 100 pounds in just 10 days.
You don't know how lucky listen, man, you don't know how lucky these people are. I don't know how lucky these people are, but these people are lucky. Because listen, not everyone's going to respond well to surgery. Not everyone's going to respond well to whatever it is that they need to respond to. Do you know what I'm saying here? Let's not get it twisted out here. This is crazy. Because we're looking at people. Oh, man, I'm bringing it up again. I know, but it is what it is. It is what it is, but we're looking at other people like the Amberlins and the Chantels, you know, and we're looking at the attitude that they have towards food and the attitude that they just think, you know what, it's okay, I'm going to keep going, yeah, I can go to ER this amount of times, yeah, I can, no, we can't be, no, those excuses don't fly no more, man, they never did, but they don't fly no more than ever, no way, oh, wow. You know, listen, legit, this is what, you know what the saddest thing is? You could send one of these videos to like any one of these YouTubers who are weight gaining YouTubers, even someone like Nicole Card or whatever. And you know, if you send it to them, they'll just be like, why are you fat shaming me for us? Why are you sending this to me? Just because I'm fat? You know what I mean? They'll find an excuse to take the fact that someone has sent this to them to warn them. To warn them about the future that they're leading into because they're moving careless. They're moving absolutely mad.
However, she was still way too big for the all-important lap band insertion, so she kept on working. Thanks to multiple surgeries and tough dieting, she managed to lose enough weight to qualify for a lap band. That plus several more surgeries to remove excess skin, bringing her total number of surgeries to 11.
And do you know what? Do you know what as well, right? You got to understand something here, right? The two men weighed more than her. She weighed just over 1,000. The other two men, one weighed over 1,300. The other one was over 1,200, right? And it's crazy because she looks like the weight that she's obviously impacted has just demolished her body even more than it did with the men. So this is a side note just to say that, listen, you know, in case you didn't know, or maybe you've forgotten, you know, when you put on weight, everyone's going to put weight on in different ways. So when you're watching someone that is all about, you know, body positivity, no offense to them, and someone that's all about, you know, be big and being proud, no offense to them, the thing you got to understand is this, right? If that person that you're looking at is influencing you, when they put their weight on, that weight might look good on them. That weight might go down to their bum area, you know what I mean? It might go less to the stomach area. They may still have those, you know, that waist that's kind of tucked in. But you have to remember, if you put the weight on, it doesn't mean you're going to look the same. Far from it, you know? We've seen the way Chantel's weight looks on her, you know? All that food that she eats, her gut is completely nearly down to her knees. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, we got Stella Williams out here on YouTube too, you know what I mean? Listen, don't even get me started by that woman, but boy, I mean, you see her gut, it's going down there, you know? So it's like, Sometimes, yeah, it's nice to be inspired by people who are plus size, okay? But you have to look at them sometimes and be like, do you know what? Okay, I noticed that their weight predominantly goes maybe to their bum area. It doesn't go as much to the stomach area. Their gut isn't as big, you know what I mean? Or maybe it goes, you know what I mean? You got to look at that and then look at yourself and be like, if I get influenced by this person, am I going to look like that though? Because my body might respond differently. My body might say, because there are people out there who their weight doesn't even touch their legs. It doesn't touch their legs. Legs are still skinny ankles than me. But then the upper part is like Humpty Dumpty. No disrespect, but it's just big. And then, you know what I mean? So you also have to think about that. When you're someone that wants to be a plus size person or XYZ, you know, but you're doing it because you're influenced by someone else, just analyze how they look compared to how you look. You see what I'm saying? Because weight isn't for everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? There are people out there who being slightly bigger, it worked for them. You know what I mean? Because they're still healthy. You know what I mean? The body's still able to function. They can still do everything that they need to do because their body can tolerate that weight to a certain degree. But obviously they have a limit. But you got to think about your body. How much can it really tolerate that weight to that degree? You know? Do you get those back pains? Do you get those leg aches? Do you get that breathing situation? Are you unable to do most exercises possible? Just think about those things, because the fact that she weighs less than these two men, but she looks so much more bigger than them. Proof in the freaking pudding, people. Come on. Don't be blind.
Along with a dedicated adherence to a vegetable-heavy diet, resulted in one of the most dramatic weight losses in history. Myra Rosales, a woman who once was so heavy and immobile she couldn't even perform basic tasks on her own, who once had a hole cut out of her wall so she could be transported to court during her murder trial, and who had to be transported to hospitals in a U-Haul because no ambulance could fit her, had dropped over 800 pounds. She was now roughly 200 pounds, or 91 kilos, with a goal weight of roughly 170 pounds, and her quality of life couldn't be better. She's still fighting to gain custody of her nephews and nieces, but if the courts realize she can easily care for them as well as she's cared for herself, then it'll just be a matter of time before she achieves that goal as well.
That's a brilliant point. That is a brilliant point. Just let that sink in your head right now. I'll rewind that. Rewind. Listen, let that sink in.
Easily care for them as well as she's cared for to gain custody of her nephews and nieces, but if the courts realize she can easily care for them as well as she's cared for herself, then it'll just be a matter of time before she achieves that goal as well. Sometimes people don't cross the 1,000-pound mark due to injury or disease. In some cases, extreme overeating is the sole culprit, such as in the case of Kenneth Brumley. Once an active child who played multiple sports, Brumley gave up athletics in his late teens and instead endlessly ate. This culminated in 2010 when he reached a peak weight of 1,033 pounds, or 469 kilograms. This is to be expected when one's girlfriend feeds him roughly 30,000 calories a day. By that point, Brumley wasn't just confined to his bed. He had been confined for over 15 years. What's more, he hadn't been able to bathe for the last 4 years. Clearly, something had to change. He, like many of the other morbidly obese people we've mentioned, saw gastric bypass surgery as his only option. And like many of the others, his trip to the hospital was preceded by a team of experts, in this case firefighters, knocking down a wall in his house to get him out and on the road. Once at the hospital, the team of specialists placed him on an extremely strict diet, one where he could only consume 1,200 calories per day. This 96% reduction of his daily caloric intake garnered immediate results. In just his first 40 days on the diet, he dropped 167.5 pounds, or 76 kilos.
Of course, why wouldn't he? He's that big, come on. That weight is looking for a reason to run away from his body ASA freaking P. But we all know this, you know. When you are big, you generally start to lose weight quick. It's just that when you get smaller, it starts to slow down. You know what I mean? Because that weight doesn't want to be there. You know what I mean? That weight is there. You're holding that weight as if it's hostage. You see what I'm saying? And you know when you hold someone hostage, the moment you can let them out, they run. They go. Stampede and everything. So of course that weight's going to go quickly, you know? And that's why when you are someone who's trying to lose weight because you are obese or XYZ, right? Of course, when you first begin, that weight's going to want to just go. Because he doesn't want to be there. It's not there to be your friend. It's there because you force it to be there. You've imprisoned that freaking weight. Come on, man.
There appears to be no information anywhere on what happened to Mr. Brumley after his initial weight loss. After all, he was still well over 800 pounds and had a long way to go before being considered healthy. Yet after his initial appearance in the British documentary series Body Shock, nobody seems to have bothered following up on him. The documentary showed a family big into fast food, so it's certainly possible he lapsed back into his old habits. That would be unfortunate if the case, but it's sadly a reality for anyone that size. The human body isn't meant to be that big, but once it gets that size, it becomes extremely difficult to not be that big. It becomes the new normal as far as the body is concerned, and it wants nothing more than to get back to the gargantuan unhealthy size it used to be. To drop hundreds of pounds and keep it off takes an unceasing combination of hard work, dedication, and being surrounded by a good support system. For his sake, let's hope Kenneth Brumley and anyone else who's struggling with weight issues even a fraction as severe as the heaviest people on Earth have all three.
That video's got me all the way worked up, man. It's got me all the way worked up. Wow. Damn, man. Damn. It's just sad to see. It's so sad to see, you know. It really is. It just makes me so... Oh, man. I don't know about you boys and girls, but boy, this got me right here. No. Honestly, boys and girls, honestly, like, come on. Let's cut everything. Cut the come on, cut the BS. Listen, if you're someone that's been big before and you have been able to lose that weight and, you know, you're now in a more healthier state and you're now more able, honestly, round of a freaking applause. Honestly, I commend you for that. You know, honestly, despite the fact that you shouldn't have got to that stage anyway, the fact that you was able to pick yourself up and you haven't relapsed since, I absolutely commend you for that, okay? Now, if you're someone that is still at a plus size, you know, if you're someone that is still overweight, that is still on that obese kind of scale, okay? Whether you're 300 pounds, 500 pounds, 600 pounds, regardless, okay? If you're on that, if you're there and you still haven't been like, you know what, I need to just go and start, come on. Look at this. Use this as inspiration, okay? And if you're someone that, you know, you have tried and you've tried and you've tried, stop trying. Just do it. I don't want to hear nothing about I'm trying. Do it. This is your life on the line, especially if you've got loved ones around you. And even if you don't, it doesn't matter. Do it anyway, because then you will find someone around you to love you. You know, I'm not saying people won't love you when you're big, but what I'm saying is that if you get yourself to a better weight where you love yourself, you're going to be able to love that person more when the person that loves you. Do you see what I'm saying? Because there's no point in getting a relationship with someone where you still don't really love yourself and it's going to be about you and your weight loss journey that you keep doing up and down like a yo-yo. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Come on. I mean, I'm finding it hard to find... Listen, I'm trying to find words of encouragement right now, but that video got me all the way upside down. I ain't going to lie to you, boys and girls. I'm really not going to lie to you. But boy... Like I said, I'm going to leave the link in the description, people, okay? If you need to, rewatch the video as many times as possible just to keep giving you that light bulb that, oh, yo, they had to knock my man's wall off just to get him out of the house, out of the flat. They then had to get a crane just to get him out of it, or forklift, whatever it was, just to put him in the hot. Come on, think about that. Do you want your house? Do you want the wall in your house being knocked down? That's expensive. You got to pay for, you know. You think they're going to knock down that wall and then pay to repair your wall? No. But they did that for you. You still got to pay for that. Whether it's for your insurance or not. Come on, man. Come on. Deep stuff. But listen, boys and girls, let me know what you're thinking down below. If anyone has words of encouragement for other people who are watching this video and other people who hopefully also read the comment section just like me, if you got any words of wisdom, put them down in the comment section, and hopefully those words of wisdom that you have can inspire someone, you know, to do better for themselves, you know, and get to that goal so they can avoid being at this stage, because no one wants to be in hospital and no one wants to have that amount of surgery. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, is it really worth the chance that surgery might work for you the way it worked for them? You know what I mean? Or the diets that they were put on would actually work for you like it worked for them? Because remember, there's always a complication in weight loss, you know? Prevent yourself from making those complications even worse. But again, if you got words of encouragement, boys and girls, please type them down right now, because I want to read those words of encouragement. I hope one of those words of encouragement inspires someone who's reading them now. Anyway, I've said to you, I've spoken enough. I ranted. Let me just finish it there. Thank you so much, boys and girls, for your time. We are on the road to 9K, so please make sure you hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and obviously comment and share the video. Thank you so much for your time. Peace.